Hello and welcome to the Pork and Knuckles Show, where we take a bite out of movies, like, literally. And today is a special day for us. I mean, for me as a collector, it's an especially bad day because the only franchise where I do not own any special edition, but at least the movies are special.
The movies are amazing.
They have a place in our hearts, and why don't you want to start with...
Home Alone?
Yes.
Home Alone. Timeless Christmas classic. Right. I love the movie. The movie was comedy gold before he starts setting the battle plan. It was amazing. Everything was... I don't think you could try and recreate a movie like that. Really, I don't think so. And I would go out to say some of the dialogue there was superb. I mean, superb scene.
Which was not in the script.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. So
Macaulay Culkin was supposed to take his hands away from his face before he started screaming, but he just...
It was amazing.
Flubbed it and they left it in.
I love the shopping scene, and this has happened to me. I'm carrying my bags and they're ripped up, and I'm like, oh God. Brilliant. And the cheek of Kevin is superb. It is so cool. It really is a family movie, and I think everyone can watch it. It's a great movie.
I don't like it.
Right then.
Not really. No, the problem is I don't like Christmas. I don't like family movies. And this is, for me, this is the over-encompassation of a cheesy family Christmas movie, which is why I don't like it.
It's not cheesy.
I don't like...
What are you talking about?
I don't like the way that the ultra happy end has to happen. The end that we see in the movie is even happier than intended in the scripts because apparently it wasn't cheesy enough after the first draft.
Yeah, but it wasn't a happy end. Because he did not eat his macaroni and cheese dinner.
Those are problems today.
9 o'clock.
Yeah. No, but the problem is I like the comedy.
It was superb. It was brilliant comic value.
I like the fact how they made sure to leave no plot holes. Because, okay, you say this is a family and they forget one of their kids? Are they mental? But they included this in such an amazing way, even with cleaning up the spill in the kitchen in one of the first scenes, and then the camera just pans over to the waste paper basket, and you can see that they used Kevin's plane ticket to wipe this because it was caught up in some rug. So I have to say, I really love the comedy, but for me the main reason why I like Home Alone, of course I like it, is Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern because they are fabulous actors. I also like Macaulay Culkin's performance in the film, but still, if I go for a comedy, of course I have to say my favorite comedy of all time is South Park and something that I have a much more vulgar taste in comedy.
That's not taste.
But... of course, because it was a groundbreaking, massive success, all the other movies built upon it. So when I went back to watching Home Alone, it ended up looking a bit tame.
Yeah, but you see, this leads us to Home Alone 2. And I think Home Alone 2 is better than Home Alone 1.
I agree.
I really, really like Home Alone 2.
Yes.
Such a good movie.
Even though, and this is something else, I like my comedies, like Leslie Nielsen, Jim Carrey comedies, to be short and fastly paced. But Home Alone 1 is over 100 minutes. Home Alone 2 is 2 hours long, which is like an encyclopedia for
but they nailed
comedy. But they nailed it. They nailed the pacing. I think they nailed the pacing better in the second one than in the first one.
I think so.
Because before the whole break-in part started, for me, Home Alone 1 dragged a bit.
It did. At the start, it was a bit long. Home Alone 2 just got into it, and you know what you were expecting, and you got delivered. It was a superb, superb movie. Brilliant sequel.
What I love is, do you know that Macaulay Culkin's stunt double was a 30-year-old?
Yeah, that was...
that is awesome. I mean, he drew the battle plan himself, which I love, which is an info I love, but...
What was it called? Operation Ho Ho Ho, or something like this. Yes,
definitely.
Operation Ho Ho Ho. I remember it. I was just like, that is cool. What was it in the third one? But it's cool. Okay. That leads us on.
Yeah, that leads us on because, of course, Home Alone 2, so not to get me wrong. What I also like is that some doctors and scientists have researched the traps that Kevin lays out for the wet bandits and said that he has caused near fatal, if not fatal, injuries at multiple occasions because at least the bricks he throws.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
this is one of my favorite scenes when
brilliant scene.
when Kevin is talking to Joe Pesci and Pesci is always stepping out of the way for Daniel Stern to be hit again in the head, and one of these bricks is nearly fatal. I remember this one surveillance footage that is going around the Facebooks and all, where two idiots try to break into a store, and they approach the store, and one guy throws a brick but doesn't know that there is bulletproof glass, so the brick ricochets off and hits the other guy in the head, and he just falls off and doesn't move.
You get knocked out.
Which is what happens in these instances.
Well, after you get 4 bricks thrown at you, I think you'd be concussed. Like, you'd be out.
You would be done. But this is what I love is these pratfalls. Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci both, by the way, did not believe in the success of Home Alone when they filmed it. They have such awesome chemistry when they fall down backwards together at the same time. This is so funny, even after the 700th time you see it.
It's the same. For me, they're both so good each time you see it. But I tell you what, Home Alone 3 is actually a good movie.
Yes.
The downfall of it was that it was followed by 2 extremely brilliant movies. So there was always going to be a comparison.
Yeah.
Like what we're doing now. But Home Alone 3 is a really, really good movie. Little bit weird at the start. You've got this James Bond sci-fi kind of 4 guys in a gang.
Yeah, it was like, okay,
like,
what
why are you doing this? We don't need this.
Am I watching a Korean espionage film?
Like my wife, when she saw it, she's like, what movie are we watching? Some kind of James Bond? I said, no, this is Home Alone 3. It's not James Bond.
I think they were going to take the Halloween route of sequels, where after Halloween 2, they decided, okay, that's it for Michael Myers. We're going to make this an anthology series and just release the movies every year on Halloween, but with different characters, different killers, different stories. I like that idea, basically.
Yeah, but the first 2 you had the same characters, and they set the scene for the whole of
I
Home
think
Alone.
the only problem of this film is its name.
Yes.
This is why the comparisons are there. I mean, John Hughes returns as writer. He wrote Home Alone 3. Some people say it's the worst thing that he has ever written. Which
it's not. That's unfair.
It's not fair because I like...
Home Alone 3 was very good.
I like what Alex D. Linz, the successor of Macaulay Culkin, did. I like his acting in the film.
It was excellent acting.
He was
I'm
good.
not gonna lie, it was superb acting.
Also, I think that the eloquency of the traps is very
it's
good.
Smart. It's
very smart, but
out.
still not exaggerated in a way of Deadly Games from France. It's much more deadly, much more painful, and this is what I like. I'm sorry I have to say this, but I like pain in my comedies.
But his best line was when he was getting told off by the mum and the chief of police, and he just said, "Excuse me for being a good citizen." I'm like, that nailed it. That was a brilliant line. Alright, now that leads us on. Home Alone 4. Oh, God.
Yeah, let's go back.
It was terrible.
No, let's go to Home Alone 5. No, let's go back to Home Alone 4.
Home Alone 4 was terrible. I mean, why? Why would you ruin something like this? It was...
But the thing is, not...
Overacting. It was overacting.
We can ask a fellow critic of ours named Daniel Stern, who was approached to star in Home Alone 4, and he called it an insult and total garbage, which I think nails
rubbish.
our...
I mean,
they
didn't even try it. You could see when the 2 robbers came in dressed as waitresses or waiter. I mean, the guy had a beanie hat, loose clothes. This wasn't funny. It was just tacky. This was a rubbish movie.
And you know what's the worst part about all this is? Beneath this beanie, beneath these 2 big baggy clothes, was French freaking Stewart. One of
Yeah.
the greatest, most talented comedic actors I have ever seen. If you have ever seen a single episode of Third Rock from the Sun, this is my all-time favorite sitcom, and it is French Stewart. It is John
Someone else
Lithgow,
told me to watch
and it
that
is
as well.
a very, very
I mean,
young.
Only Fools and Horses is the best.
And it's a very, very young Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing a family. And French Stewart is so awesome and so funny and so versatile. Just like Jim Carrey, just like Michael
Depp.
Richards.
You've got Tom Hanks. These guys are very versatile actors. Leonardo.
Something else that I didn't understand. The girl that he tries to do the break-in with is made to look exactly like Kristen Johnson from the Third Rock from the Sun. So basically he's doing the break-in with his sister, which actually is his sister in this film. So why this connection? This feels
let's move
arbitrary, to say the least.
Let's move on. This is rubbish.
But let's say it's the director of this is the same guy who brought us
director.
Yeah, but the one who brought us Teen Wolf and K-9 with John Belushi, a film that I loved as a kid. And actually, this movie was basically, the first plan was the pilot of a new TV series to make a Home Alone TV show, but since the movie bombed so bad, that idea was scrapped.
But instead then they said, let's make Home Alone 5. Home Alone 5, I think.
Yeah.
It's worse than the parodies that we did. That could in itself be a parody.
It's worse than Home Alone 4!
It's... Home Alone 5 is a disgrace. Why did they do it? Terrible music, terrible acting. Like, it wasn't even synced properly. Yeah. It was horrendous.
Yeah.
What is the point?
Speaking of the syncing, I have to go back to Home Alone 4 for a quick instance, because they have this awful smart home. And I'm still indifferent to the idea of smart homes, but walking around my house with a microphone saying, fire on, fire off, door open, door closed, especially if the door opens before you are done uttering the phrase, doors open. The door opens after the O. This is such terrible editing. And with Home Alone 5, speaking of the directors, by the way, Home Alone 5 was made by Peter Hewitt, who made Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
And you made that.
And Thunderpants.
Thunderpants was amazing.
Yeah, and it's the same director.
Thunderpants. But anyway, Home Alone 5. So the secret room, what I found odd was there's cobwebs and dust all around the bottles, but the tables and chairs are neat and clean. The floor is clean. It's just like, if this is the first time they've found it, surely there would be consistency in the dust. No consistency.
No.
I mean, I have a lot of problems with that film. It's not consistent, and
it was terrible.
Why is the neighbour's kid helping him? That's never happened in Home Alone. The old neighbour helps, but not the neighbour's kid.
But at least they didn't name him Kevin, like in the fourth film.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because we now are back with Kevin. But I just stumbled across something that I wanted to include about Home Alone 3. Because apart from the fact that it is Scarlett Johansson's first major role, actually John Hughes, who wrote the script, wanted Chris Columbus, the director of Home Alones 1 and 2, to direct this again. But he said he wanted to give this to a younger director as his directorial debut. So they selected Raja Gosnell, who was the editor of Home Alones 1 and 2, so he knew his way around. And Gosnell also edited Mrs. Doubtfire and Miracle on 31st Street, but then he went on directing bombs such as Big Mama's House, Scooby-Doo, Beverly Hills Chihuahua, and the god-awful Smurfs movies.
Right, we've done the 5.
So his name is soiled. Our day is soiled after having to sit through this crap.
It was. The 5th was bad.
Can we please, to end this on a more cheerful note, for just a few seconds, go back to Home Alones 1 and 2. They were good.
They were great.
Even though I said...
The stunts were brilliant. They got better and better. Like, the traps in 2 were better than the
Yeah.
traps in 1. And I thought that was really cool.
I love the way.
Really cool.
What I love the most about the traps is this fake movie that Macaulay Culkin is watching all the time, which is not a clip from a real movie,
Yeah,
but
but it's
footage.
always on. Well, this is the thing I found in Home Alone 1. Angels with Filthy Soul.
yeah.
Why is the movie always on? During the day? During the night? When they're coming in to scout? Why is it always on in that scene? And he just turns around, picks the remote, plays it, and they run away.
Have
Very
you
odd.
watched TV in the last 15 years? Okay, at the moment it would be Big Bang Theory and
But at the same
Two and a
scene
Half Men.
all the time. So it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, fine. We'll end it there.
Yeah.
That was it.
I have one more piece of fact.
That's one more. He
That
always has one more.
there is always one more. I'm like Factoid
Don't say it.
Columbo. On the airplane, you can see John Hurd reading a novel by Thomas McGuane.
Okay.
Which is interesting because both John Hurd and Thomas McGuane were previously married to the same woman, Margaret Kidder. So they put a book in his hand written by exactly the dude who has been banging his wife.
This was not interesting.
This is Christmas. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Have a good Christmas, guys. And if you've had a good Christmas, have a good New Year.
Oh,
Hopefully
it's
better
January,
than-
by the way. It is already.
Hopefully it's better than
2021.
2020. And yeah,
This is it.
subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Thank you very much.
And we'll see you guys again next week with our next feature.
Take care.
Take care.